What's up, YouTube? Biz Matthew here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we have another interview. We have Savion today, and he's going to share how he closed his first deal, his second deal, and his third deal, and maybe more deals to come. Savion is just 18 years old, and so if some of you all are around that age and wondering how to get started, how to close your first deal, please listen to the story. Get your notepad out and take notes as we learn together about Savion and his story. So, Savion, just to start off with, how'd you get started in wholesaling real estate, or how'd you get first introduced to the whole thing of wholesaling?
I was in high school, freshman. No, I was a senior in high school, and I heard people talking about real estate, and I'm thinking, well, I feel like you need so much money to get into real estate, and I'm thinking, what's the easy way to get in? So I did some research, and I found out there's a thing called wholesaling. I thought it was illegal at first. I was like, man, that sounds illegal. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna give it a try. But then I see it was all on my TikTok for you page, so I went ahead and got a try, and I seen your channel, and I seen Jerry Norton's channel. So I decided to do a mentor. I joined the mentor group, and everyone was a great experience. So I went from there. So
Okay, okay, that's pretty awesome. So you said a senior in high school
yeah, I
when
was a
you
senior in
learned
high
about
school.
it, and but you still started that same year, even though you had
Mm-hmm.
these preconceived notions, you still, took the effort and
Mm-hmm.
tried something out. So I think that that speaks a lot to people trying out. And so um I guess just learning about everything, you ran across me, my channel, Jerry
Mm-hmm.
Norton, and then you joined a mentorship. What was the mentorship by? Who was it by?
It was by Jamil. It was the Astro. It was the Astro
Astro
course.
Flipping.
And then
Okay.
after that, I didn't have the money. I was in high school, and it was like 1,500 a month. I was paying 1,500 a month. I'm like,
Wow.
so I was peer pressuring myself and getting to my first deal, my first month in a course to pay for the rest of the course. But I
Mm.
didn't. It takes time, so I didn't get my first deal. So I decided to join a Discord called, I think it was REI Revolution, and everyone in there he pays for the dollars. He's like it's like a Discord he uses, and everyone in there can learn and grow together. So I joined there, and from there it took off.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I think that's important that, you showed a lot. You showed that you were willing to invest money, even though I
Hmm.
guess you did learn a lot, but
Yeah.
you took the time, you actually invested in yourself. And so I think that's
Hmm.
really key to point out. And then yeah, you found a good group that was able to help you out with your first deal. So I guess while you were in high school, I mean, how did you juggle like classes and, just the obligation and responsibilities of being in school and then doing wholesaling?
So it was during my school was able we were able to do online schooling because after COVID, the following year they were able to they gave us options to do online. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna choose online because I want to wholesale and I have more time online doing homeschooling. So if I do online schooling, I can wholesale more. So I only had like 3 classes my last senior year, my first semester. So I went ahead, I graduated a semester early. So I went ahead and banged out my last 3 classes and I had all day to dial, all day to call. So,
Oh, okay.
hmm
Hey, so you graduated December.
yeah.
Okay,
And I
okay,
walked the stage and yeah. So,
okay. Oh, so you walked in May though.
yeah, I walked in May. Yeah.
Okay, okay, makes sense. Okay. Hey, we got a young guru here who graduated
Yeah,
soon from high
man.
school. Hey, that's impressive. That's pretty impressive. But okay, so you started, grinding, you started working at wholesaling. What were some of the first few things that you did, just learning from, I guess, the course you took, the Discord? I mean, what were some of the actions that you started taking before your first deal?
So what I first started doing was calling homeowners, and I was terrible on the phone. Didn't know how to speak, didn't know how to talk. So after that, I'm thinking, dang, I'm gonna start driving for dollars. So I did start driving for dollars, and I found some houses, but it was hard skip tracing them. So what I started doing was calling agents, and my
Hmm.
main marketing strategy is agents. I do agent outreach to get my deals, and so yeah, I think I tried calling homeowners for the first time. My first like couple weeks didn't work through. I started driving for dollars, got a little bit of leads from there, but agent outreach was the way I went on getting from there.
Okay, okay, that's interesting. Yeah. I think yeah, for beginners to just start with agents, I mean, that can take a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, you did try out the other, I guess, strategies like calling directly
Hmm.
to homeowners and whatnot, but you saw that didn't work. Do you think it's a good idea for beginners, or I mean, whether you agree or not, to just start off with agents, or is it good to still start off with calling homeowners first or taking that route?
I feel like it's all a personal preference, but the thing with me is like, which I had to learn in this business, you can't be impatient. But at the beginning, I was very impatient, and I hate to call homeowners for 2 months, and they tell me no. So
Hmm.
what I started doing was calling agents, and I reach out to them, and I'll say, hey, look, you have any new inventory coming in, aka their pocket listings, and it was very easy for me to ask those questions. So for me, when it comes to, is it easy for a host like a beginner? I feel like it all depends on your preference. Do you like talking to homeowners and do you like following up and have patience, which you need to have patience in this business, but or do you like talking to agents and getting straight to the point? I mean, agents do a lot of your lead flow for you, in my opinion, because they're talking to 50, hundreds of sellers a week. And if you talk to that one agent that's talking to all those sellers, you kind of already have a lead flow going.
Hmm.
So I feel like personally for me, it was easier to approach agents because it's in a motivated area. Everyone wants to sell. They're talking to sellers that want to sell. So that's why it was more easier for me to approach agent outreach rather than talking to sellers, homeowners that maybe didn't want to sell. You kind of have to convince them to selling.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I think, yeah, like you said, I mean, it boils down to just your personal preference and
Hmm.
everything like that. I guess, just speaking to agents, I think a lot of beginners may think, it may be a little bit different because agents are more, I guess, on the professional side and whatnot. I mean,
Yeah.
what kind of challenges or obstacles did you run into? Like, people saying, "Oh, how old are you?" Your age or over the phone
Yes.
or things like that with agents.
Yeah, so my first issue was proof of funds, but the actual course helped me without. So I bypassed proof of funds. But when it came to walking properties, I used to always try to be like, oh, I can just lock it up without seeing it, because if they see my age, they're already going to get a red flag. Like, why are you so young?
Mm,
So, but I just say, hey, look, my dad is an investor and I'm following my dad's steps. So that's why I'm starting so young out of high school. But I mean, the most obstacles that I had to take was getting through proof of funds and convincing agents that I'm an actual investor or not scamming them. Because when they see how
mm,
young I am, they get red flags, start asking a lot of questions. But it was mainly learning how to adapt to talking to agents and getting them to convince them to accept me, if that makes sense.
yeah, to
Because
take you serious.
to take me serious, because I was so young. They're like, "Who are you? Like, you're the guy. You're the cash buyer." Oh, so it was very, very hard convincing them. But once I learned how to start talking to agents and saying some stuff, it works. Like now I learned the lingo on how to talk to these agents, so it kind of flows a lot well now.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay, yeah. Because I think initially a lot of beginners are just people that sound young or are
Hmm.
young in
Or are
general.
young in
You're
general, yeah.
right. They just probably face that constantly, like, okay, yo, I'm serious here, like take me serious too.
Hmm.
So I guess initially you struggle, but over time you just know what to say, the type of
Yeah.
lingo that they're all like,
Hmm.
oh, this person actually knows this because they said
Exactly.
this or they
Because
know
they said
this, and then just over
exactly.
time, you just, they take you more serious.
Hmm.
Okay, and just I guess talk. So you're I guess your main target area is just in your area.
Yeah, I'm in a Kansas City market. That's my main market. I am now going virtual now that I've done a couple deals in my backyard. So now I'm expanding to different markets. But yeah, my main market is Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay, and then just going virtual route, you're saying it'll be the same strategy with dealing with agents and
Yes, I'm still
realtors.
going to do agent outreach. Yeah.
Okay, okay, yeah, and so I guess we could start talking about your first deal. And so
Yeah.
I guess leading into your first deal, I mean, how long were you working in wholesaling until you actually got a lead for your deal?
I would say about 4 months. It took me
Mm,
4 or 5 months to really get it down. It took me 4 or 5 months to talk to agents, know what to say and what not to say. So it took me about 4 or 5 months to get my
okay.
first deal.
Yeah, your first deal. Okay, okay, makes sense. And yeah, I think that's a respectable time, honestly. People
Hmm.
say around 90 days, if you're consistent with it and everything like that. But I mean, it's definitely more competitive now and
It
a
is.
little bit more difficult to find these properties, but it can still be done. Okay, well, just talking about this first deal, let's just go over, some of the pillars. So, um, how'd you get in contact with this specific seller, and why were they selling, or why were they motivated to sell this property?
So the first thing I did was I hopped on Redfin, and on the keyword search, I type in investor or as is. And once I
Mm,
type in that keyword search, it pops up all the houses in my market that have the description investor in it. So a lot of times it says investor opportunities. So what I do is I call all those agents, and I say, hey, look, I'm an investor in the area. I'm looking to, buy some more fix and flips. Do you have any? And of course, they're going to tell me what they have because they want to make, they want to make a sell. So I called this agent. Her name was Kim. And I was like, hey, I was calling. She had a property listed that had a fire damage on it. I know I didn't want that fire damage property, and I knew I couldn't wholesale it. But I reached out to her. I said, hey, look, do you have any new inventory coming in? I'm looking to buy something. So if you have anything coming up, that would be great. And right before I hung up the phone with her, she was like, I actually do have a property coming up. And I said, oh, okay, what's the situation on it? What's the bed and baths? I wanted to get the situation, what was going on. And it turns out it was the agent's cousin that wanted to sell, and they were
mm,
willing to do an off-market sell. So I was like, okay, perfect. And I figured out their motivation. The seller had to go to college and move across the country to go to college. So that's where the motivation was, and she needed to sell at a certain point. So I knew there was motivation because she had to leave. It was a time stamp. So I'm like, okay, perfect. So what I did was after I reached out to her, she gave me the address to the property. I ran my numbers on it. And after I ran my numbers on it, I talked to her about it. We got it signed. I think we got it under contract for 72.5.
did she give you a number first, or did you kind of say, oh, I'm going to run my numbers, and gave her a number first?
Well, I asked her, I said, well, what are you looking to get out of it? And she said, I kind of just want you to just see what you can do. She wouldn't give me a number. So I
Mm.
had to go ahead and give her a number. And so I gave her a number at 72.5 on
Okay.
that one.
And so, yeah, just backtracking a little bit. I know you're working with agents and they ask for proof of funds. And this is probably one of the most asked questions, like, how do you get proof of funds? And I know you mentioned from your mentorship you had that, but do you know any other, I guess, resources or ways that a beginner can, provide that, or, talk to an agent so they just still take them serious without a proof of funds? I mean, what can they do?
I mean, when it comes to proof of funds, it's almost like it's kind of hard to avoid it because with agents, it's like mandatory. When it comes to earnest money and proof of funds, they demand that
Mm,
immediately. Like they demand it. So it was kind of hard to get around that. It's very hard to get around it. So, there's ways you can get it. I think there's a website that gives you proof of funds for free, but I don't use that one because agents started to catch on to it. They will call the number on the list and it was a inactive number. So like I said in the beginning, I joined this Discord group called REI Revolution, and they provide it for free.
mm,
Um, and it's a really good one, and it has an actual number. And I think he's a hard money lender in the Discord, and he gives it
mm.
out to people, and they can edit, how much amount they need and what city in the timestamp. So honestly, what got me that resource was joining that Discord, and they gave me the resources for that
Okay,
free
makes sense.
for free.
For
So
free. Wow. That's a really good resource. And yeah, I mean, it's still like, legal and everything because it's coming from a hard money
it's
lender,
hard money
right?
lender,
And
exactly. Yeah.
so they have those funds. And like, let's say you are going to go that route where you actually close on the property, you can still go with that hard money lender and everything.
Exactly.
Okay,
Hmm.
perfect, perfect.
Yep.
So yeah, you all out there, if you find this Discord group, you all can sign up and maybe get proof of funds, or
Yep.
other mentorships groups
Yeah, I
and
mean,
like
the
that.
Discord's amazing. You can get proof of funds, you can get bank statements, I mean, for free. People are in there, everyone in there was cash buyers, investors, they all want to help everyone. So it's
Mm,
it's it's for free. It's really amazing.
okay, awesome. Okay, and so I know you say you got it under contract at 72,500.
Yes, I got it
Okay,
for under contract for 7,500.
what was the comps around the area? What do you think
So
all fixed up it would have sold for
the
before?
ARV on it was very
Yeah.
difficult because it was very hard to comp this house. It was one of the smaller houses in the neighborhood, and I really couldn't find comp, but I did find a comp for I think it was 130. But the thing is, the house that I had was a two-bedroom, one bath. It was 720 square footage. It was clean though. It was really clean. It was nice paint carpet. Whoever lived there took really good care of it. So I'm thinking, okay, what I did was I did ARV times zero point 0.7, and I went ahead and I didn't mind its repairs because it didn't need any repairs. It was actually really clean. And so I'm like, okay, maybe like so what I did was I did ARV times 0.7 minus what I wanted to make on the deal. I didn't even minus repairs because it didn't need, in my eyes, it didn't need repairs. And sometimes your discount kind of is a little bit with the repairs as well. Like sometimes it can add with the repairs. So after I did that, I minus 5,000 because I wanted to make at least 5,000 in my first deal. And I just wanted to cross the finish line the first time. I didn't want to make the biggest spread. So my comps was 130 and I got it for 72.5. And I realized I got it locked up way too high because once I got in a contract with the seller and I put earnest money down, I started, joining Facebook groups and I started, marketing the property. I started calling cash buyers in the area that I recently done flips in the last 90 days, reaching out to them and see if they were looking for another project in the same neighborhood. And they were interested. And, they started looking at the property, was vacant, was on a lockbox, they were able to get in there and get out of there. And I started getting feedback from all the buyers. And they were all coming at 60K. So I'm like, dang it, I have it locked up way too high. So I went ahead and contacted the agent and said, hey, look, I ran my numbers, but it kind of was a get Joe free card because the agent told me the property was 720 square. No, she told me it was 1440 square footage. But when I went on tax records, it said it was 720. So I was marking the property actually as 1440 square footage instead of 720. And so I said, hey, look, it was my bad. I ran my numbers wrong, but you told me it was 720, but when I went on tax, or you told me it was 1440, but when I went on tax records, it was 720. So it threw all my comps off, threw all my numbers off. So I had to bite my tongue, but I had to have confidence saying it. But I said, hey, look, I know I agreed at 725, but I'm gonna have to be down at 60K. That was so she was like 60,000. I don't know if I can do that. And I'm like, okay, just give me a call if you can. Next day she gave me a call and said, we'll take it for 60,000. And so we re-signed it, got a addendum written up again for $60,000, and I went ahead and assigned it for 61,17.5 because I couldn't get any buyers above 60K almost. So I got lucky getting a buyer at 61,000. I think it was 61,750 or something like that.
Okay, hey, but
So
congrats. I mean, that's proof of concept, like they say, you
yeah.
post your first deal and everything. But yeah, I mean, that's a lot in that story. I think it's important too that, like you said, I mean, you were a truth teller, like you told the agent, hey, this is the issue. Like, I ran my comps wrong. I mean, yeah, the square footage was off a little bit, and
Yep.
you just gave the price that you needed to give. And so you found the cash buyer in like Facebook groups. How did you find the cash buyer?
So I found a cash buyer. Actually, I was in a peer pressure because this was a pickle one because we had to close in a week and I had a week to close. And I'm like, I don't have a buyer. I'm screwed. And I didn't want to lose his lead. I wanted to perform with his agent so she can bring me more deals. So I'm like, I gotta find a way to close. And I actually just went ahead and assigned it to New Western. I know they're wholesalers as well. They're a big wholesaler franchise. I went ahead and assigned it to them because they can get it done. At the time, I was really new and I was posting it on Facebook groups, but I wasn't getting a lot of feedback, or I was getting other wholesalers and it wasn't working out. So I went ahead and my last option was New Western. I gave it to New Western and they went ahead and wholesaled it. Yeah.
Do you know how much they sold it for?
Yeah, I'm kind of upset because I could have made easily $5,000-6,000 off this deal, but I gave it to them. I got it for 60K. I gave it to them for 61.75, and then they wholesaled it for 4,000. And then the other person they wholesaled it to, they also wholesaled it for 4,000, and then double closed on it.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so I'm like, dang it. But I was happy. I was, still profit. I didn't spend a single dime in marketing.
Right.
I didn't spend a single dime in marketing,
Yeah.
so I crossed the finish line and I was just happy. So
Okay. Okay. Hey, congrats once again. So,
yeah.
yeah, well, talking about, I guess, just that journey and everything, how has it been since your first deal? I mean, how has the process gone?
It's been amazing, man. Like
Yeah.
I wish I can pull up the screenshots to show you. I don't have the check stubs, and it's just honestly because it's amazing because after that first deal, I was working 2 jobs in the summertime and I didn't have enough time to, but I went ahead and said, you know what, I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna quit these 2 jobs. I quit both jobs, quit them, and then like a month later, got one deal. We closed. It was August 23rd. I made $3,000 also off that deal. It took 2 weeks to close that deal actually. And
Mm,
then let's see here. I didn't get a deal until October 14th. And
mm,
that one was, I think I made $7,802 on that deal. And then I just closed on my fourth one on November 1st, and I made 7,000.
Nice, nice.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah, so you're getting a larger spreads too. You're learning how
larger
to,
spreads.
maybe
Yes.
negotiate better, talk to
I learned how to
agents and
talk
everything.
and
Right, right.
yes.
Hey, that's good. So yeah, I mean, what's down the pipeline? You have any more leads down
Yeah,
the pipeline
so
and stuff?
yeah, so right now, I had a listing. No, it was a property on Zillow on market in March. It was on market for 70K and needed a lot of work. Never sold, and I had it saved. And I went back at my saves on Zillow, and I see it was off market. I'm like, oh, I looked at the transaction history. They removed it. So I went ahead and called that lead, and I walked it yesterday, and she wanted 70K, but I had to be at 30K to make 10K, and she set it at 30K. So now I'm on a
Mm,
contract right now as of day one on contract at 30K. I'm gonna sign up for 40K or at least 38. I know I can make at least 38 on it. So, or make eight. I can at least make 8K. So I have that one signed right now. Then I have another lead, another off-market property coming from an agent. He's giving me the details on the end of this week, but he already has a sign with the seller. But I have first dibs, and he's going to do an off-market sell. So that's another lead. But as of right now, I only have one other lead, and I have one deal under contract right now in the escrow. So
nice, nice. Well, congrats on all the success and everything. And seems
yeah,
like yeah, the business is rolling and everything
he's
like that. So
rolling up.
congrats.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, no, you can go ahead.
No, yeah. So what I want to say is, I mean, anyone that's young, or even if you're not young, you got to take action. That's what it all
Mm,
comes down to. Because I was consuming a lot of information, but I wasn't doing anything with it. I wasn't taking action. So I had to
mm.
start picking up the phone and learn from my mistakes. After one call, I learned to not say that on the next call, and I kept doing that. I kept calling and taking action, and that's really what it was. I mean, this business is real. It actually does work. And I put on doing this. My next step is buying my first rental property. I've been watching you on your first, rental property. Was it a
Yeah,
duplex you bought, or
yeah. I
is it?
bought a duplex this summer. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm working on buying my first rental property. I'm taking all my profits, and I'm gonna buy my first rental property for eventually getting cash flow in. So
Hey, and you're over 10 years younger than I am, so it's
yeah, man.
crazy
So
that yeah, that you're starting this. So I mean, you'll be way ahead of the game for sure.
yeah, I mean, and if anyone is really curious on how agent outreach works,
Right.
I mean, this is what I do. Like, I mean, I'm gonna give you step by step. I call
Hmm.
them up. I do a keyword search that has the investor in it. All the investor opportunity properties in my market pop up. I call those agents, say, hey, look, I'm an investor in the area. I'm looking to buy some properties. Would you have any investor opportunities? And they're gonna say, oh yeah, I have this one on such and such street. And then you'd be like, okay, perfect. I'm gonna run some numbers on that one. And then before you get off the phone, say, hey, look, do you have any new inventory coming in late anytime soon? And they'll tell you, oh, well, I have one coming up in a week or two. Bam, get the address, run your numbers on it, and see what you can do and see if you can provide value by closing it early, because it will make them look good to their client that they were able to get a deal done before you even hit the market.
Mm,
So that's kind of how I do my agent outreach. I reach out to agents, get their pocket listings, and I close on those pocket listings before they hit the
got
market.
you. Hey, you're just dropping gems, man. I mean,
Yeah,
you
man.
just telling. I don't even have to ask some questions. You just know what to say. Boom, boom, boom.
Exactly,
Because
man.
yeah, I
It's
mean, a lot of the listeners they like that step by step. Like, okay,
step by
this is how
step.
this is how I call. This is what I say. This is what you do.
Hmm.
And so I guess you provide your own earnest money. How? I mean,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
So like,
So
is there any
with age,
way else that a beginner can, provide that? Let's say they don't have like $1,000, or what can they do?
yeah. So my best bet, if you don't have any money to start marketing, then agent outreach would be very tough, because you gotta agents usually, like, with their contracts, like 1% of how much the house is, how much you have to put down on the contract. So if you don't have earnest money, hustle, man, get a side hustle, get some money going so you can go ahead and build up that money if you want to go the agent outreach route. But if
Mm,
you don't want to have it, if you don't have any money, then I would do homeowners, because they really don't ask for earnest money. So,
right,
but with agents, get a side hustle, save up some money, and then go ahead. That way you have enough money for earnest money, because you're gonna have to have earnest money for
right.
agent outreach always.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. And I think that's key. Like, I mean, not everything is 100% like free, not everything
Exactly.
is 100% super passive or anything like that. Like you have to work
Hmm.
for
You got to.
your P's and your money and everything. So like, I mean, yeah, that's part of the work. That's part of doing this business. Even though wholesaling in general, yeah, it's just less expensive than starting another
Starting another.
business. So yeah, those are just some of the costs associated with going, I guess, this route. But yeah, okay, well, I guess what's next? I guess you talked about getting a rental property,
Yes.
maybe closing more deal. I mean, what else are you looking? What's your end goal with wholesaling and real estate and everything like that?
Honestly, my end goal in real estate is to have I want to eventually have my goal, and I have it written down. I want to have two LLCs, one for fixing and flipping, and then one for rentals. So
Nice.
I'm gonna keep wholesaling. I mean, I'm not gonna stop wholesaling. I'm even gonna wholesale when I get to that point. But I'm gonna keep wholesaling. Why not? Why stop? But I say in a year from now, I'm looking to buy my. I say in a couple of months, if I can close at least 4 more deals, I'm
Mm,
gonna be looking to go ahead and just buy my first rental property, get some cash flow, have it pay off the mortgage, and then get a little bit of cash on the side.
right.
That's my end goal with real estate is to keep doing wholesaling, get a couple more checks, buy my first rental property or my first fix and flip deal. If I do my first fix and flip deal, take that profit and keep scaling, do more fix and
Mm,
flips. You know,
right. Hey, you got the right idea, the right mindset. I see
Mhm.
you going far for sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you can easily hit those targets, those goals easily, if you continue doing what you're doing. So congrats, man.
So yeah, I appreciate it, man. And
Yeah.
I don't want to I'm not trying to sell promo, but if anyone needs to join a court or a friend group or an environment where everyone is growing for free, this is this what called REI Revolution, and
Mm,
they pay for the dollars. If you don't have money for a dollar, that Discord they pay for it. You can use a dollar, for free. He pays for the dollar. He runs the whole Discord. His name is John Johnson. He pays for all the dollars, all the skip tracing, all that. He pays for it. It's all free. So he provides
mm,
the area for everyone to come in that doesn't have enough money to start. If you don't want to pay for a dollar, that's free. Proof of funds, that's free. Bank statements, that's free. All the sources and resources you need are in that Discord.
okay.
So, I advise, to, join the Discord, some to that, or join that one. I mean, it's amazing, man. It really is amazing, being around people that want to see you grow for free without
Gotcha.
charging. So
Yeah, and make sure you all check Savion's Instagram. I'll leave his Instagram down below if you guys want to, message him
yeah,
through Instagram with any questions that you have. I bet he's more than willing to answer all you guys' questions and give you the
yes,
link to that Discord and everything like that. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I know you all related to Savion's story. Yeah, and I think a lot of people will, take a lot of notes and hopefully, take action towards
yes.
what they learned from your story. All right, you all make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below. All right.